guys, old friend of mine named John Bloom. He did his stage name is Bob Briggs, and he was in one of my movies years ago, and we remained friends over the years. But he did this thing on what was it, Craig Kilborn, The Daily Show. I think it was before Jon Stewart. He did something called God Stuff, and he would expose like the crazy religious stuff, mostly prosperity gospel stuff. But he just sent me this article he did on Jesse Duplantis. Jesse Duplantis' new thing is that he said God told him he needed $54 million to buy a new jet and upgrade his jet to preach the gospel. And I just, it really upsets me. Like, why do you need that? First of all, I don't hear him like giving the gospel ever, like that Christ died for sins according to Scripture, buried where it's going the third day. If you trust in Him, He'll give you eternal life. Nowhere did He say He'll grant all of your worldly desires. He said our kingdom's not of this world. And St. Paul said sometimes He gets a lot, sometimes He gets a little. And either way, He can do all things through Christ, which strengthens Him. So it's very bizarre. It's kind of this. Anyway, I'm not even going to speak against prosperity stuff. I'm just going to read this because it's kind of a cute article, but it grieves me because it's true, you know. We're a wealthy country, so it might fly in this country, but there's people starving in other countries, and they need the saving gospel message, not promises of, jets. Anyway, John sent me this. You could probably look up Bob Briggs. He does a lot of commentary, writes for a lot of online newspapers and magazines. All right, the most frightening thing about Jesse Duplantis is that I think he truly believes what he's saying. I mean, at some deep level, even a guy who wears a yellow plaid shirt under a navy blue blazer is woke enough to realize that having a conversation with God, and by the way, God needs to improve his syntax, having a conversation with God about how Jesse needs a $54 million jet to spread the gospel is, among other things, insane. Quick digression. As recently as the 50s, anyone claiming to get messages from God was immediately booked into the Russ State Hospital for the feeble-minded. Today, these guys get international TV shows. By this time, you've probably heard about Jesse's appeal for the help in granting God's wish that he start using a Falcon 7X corporate jet for church business. His 3 previous multi-million-dollar jets have proven inadequate for the spreading of the prosperity gospel because of their range requires Jesse to stop and refuel, thereby wasting God's valuable time. Jesse's videos went viral and attracted all kinds of attention from the secular press.
Wait.
But that's the second most frightening thing about this story. That it's being treated by the media like a weird aberration. Exactly. These kind of claims happen all the time. I remember when... Wait a minute. When Oral Roberts said that God was going to kill him if he didn't get X amount of millions of dollars. Do you remember that? He said, if you don't send me X amount, God's going to take my life. Do you remember it? Anyway, the hospital thing he was trying to build never did happen. But they did send the money. And I see he lived quite a long time after that. Anyway, that's what he's saying. He said it's being treated like a weird aberration. But he says stuff like this all the time. Well, actually... they say this stuff all the time. All these prosperity gospel guys do. What's remarkable is that this particular comment got noticed. There are 1,700 hours of American-based religious programming per week, much of it being by satellite into countries like Iran and Nigeria that have large populations struggling to break away from cycles of poverty and violence. The preaching is loud, charismatic. The more primitive the audience, the more tongue-talking you get. And above all, focused. 1, God will make you rich. 2, Jesus will help you get material rewards. 3, the Almighty wants to reward the faithful. It's that third line that grabs the money for Jesse's jet. God is ready to give you everything you want, but only if you believe. I wanted to read that article to you because John sends me stuff like this quite a bit. And, I believe John's a believer. But I think a lot of this religion and insanity grieves him, and he exposes it through humor. And he's a brilliant writer. He's got a degree from Vanderbilt. The guy is really underrated because he pretends to be a hick on TNT's Monstervision. He had a TV show many years on Monstervision called Monstervision where he rated B movies. and he became like a little cult sensation. And so he pretends to be like, you know, a hillbilly, a redneck, but he's super, super intelligent guy. He was also in Casino. He played the nephew of the guy in Vegas that Robert De Niro fired. But the guy's just brilliant. But the article really hit home, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. The hypocrisy just makes me sick. God bless.